The source material for this Artfully Remade journal is Hans Brinker and the Silver Skates. The first time I ever began an Artfully Remade journal and used an X-Acto knife to cut the pages out of a book, I was both thrilled and horrified. As a lifelong book lover, it felt like sacrilege, but also really fun and yummy at the same time. I'll say it's not always this easy to cut the spines of a book. This one already is almost completely separated the pages from the binding. Other times it is not that way at all. So now I have the core of the pages that I will use as source material both for making this book and for other projects. So here's the spine. This is what I'm going to be working with. So now I'm going to use hockey tape. This is me attempting to show you the hockey illustration that's on the inside core of the roll of tape. This was suggested to me by Christine Karpiak, who is an amazing art maker who inspired me to begin making books of my own. The idea of the hockey tape is it helps strengthen the spine and make it well prepared for accepting the stitching of the different signatures into the book itself. Measuring it out, smoothing it down. I want to make sure that it really adheres to the book surface so that it can be as supportive as possible. Now that the inside is strengthened, I want to do a little something to support the outside as well. And for this, I will choose washi tape. And it just so happens that I had a design with windmills on it, which goes nicely with the themes of the illustrations within the Hans Brinker book. So that was exciting to see that in my own stash. So I'm just measuring it out, and I'm trying not to cover the title, which is tricky because the part that needs the most support is right there next to the title. So I will likely trim it back a little bit, make sure that it's not blocking too much when the tape is set. All of this will get kind of trimmed and supported in the best way possible. I'll add a strip of washi to the inside covers as well, just for that bit of color and flair to connect it to the outside cover. Trying to decide the best way to orient with the windmills. And again, I'll trim everything up so that it fits and does its job as cleanly as possible for both support and beauty. Taping is complete, and now we're ready to think about what pages we're going to put inside. There's some handwriting here that connects back to the previous owner, including a date of December 25th, 1955. So I'm going to keep this page and use it in the actual journal as a way to keep that connection back to the original owner. I always like to include the title page as well. The table of contents is something of visual interest. I like to include pages that have unconventional text formatting, and you get that windmill illustration as well. And then I'm just paging through to see if there's a picture that catches my eye. Something that, ooh, look, buildings. Yep, that's the one I want. Obsessed with any kind of old building and would love to have something like this in the mix of the journal as well. So I'm going to tear this page out. Again, tearing out pages. So exciting, so rebellious. In addition to having the book pages, I'm also going to include some watercolor pages so that people can add their own words, thoughts, reflections, sketches, whatever they want to do to make their Artfully Remade journal their own. This trick I learned from Christine Karpiak, and it just adds a little bit of visual interest to the edges of your pages when you can rip and make kind of a rough side to your paper in the book. It just is a little yummy. So now I'm taking a ruler to measure from the middle so that I can prepare for the fold. so that this paper can go into a signature. So making a little dot there. This ruler is a Tim Holtz ruler, and it was recommended to me by Debbie Ann with Vintage Ephemera Garden in her excellent tutorial video on the easy 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Here comes the bone folder. It helps me score a good fold. Again, it's a Tim Holtz ruler. Love this ruler. Going to take that bone folder and smooth the page so that I've got a really clean and crisp fold. Here's the fun selection process. So we've already picked out some pages from the original book. And then I'm going to look through maybe some old vintage magazine pages that I'll add some collage or stamping elements to. I also have some painted papers where I've used ink or acrylic paint on some various vintage papers to add some abstract elements to bring the book to life. I also have craft paper that I use to cover my work surfaces that I get to give new life in these projects. And we've got our watercolor paper. So this is the end of the beginning of an Artfully Remade journal.